Hi, my name is Danny Conroy. I am the co-founder of AIM House, and I'm lucky enough to be sitting here today with one of our alumni and now junior mentors, Daniel Earnst. Really happy to have you here and glad we're taking the time to speak. I'm trying my best to bring some people, alumni and our staff and different people into conversation so people can get a sense one-on-one what people's experiences have been at AIM House. And so thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah. Nice. Now, how much did you bet on that? Daniel and I have had the great fortune of getting to know each other like outside of AIM House actually by doing a podcast. So Daniel became the co-host. You know, I got booted out because I was relatively inconsistent. No, I'm just kidding. But Matt Sullivan and you are the co-host of Take Your Pick, and I will say it's your show now. Like it's kind of like I'm a guest. I come on as a guest, and I love it. We've been doing the NFL podcast for a long time, but this year it took on a lot of vigor because you know you were committed to it, and we kept going. Talk about the podcast experience a little bit, like what we did down there.
Sure. So I think one of the biggest things like we've talked about with the pandemic, the uncertainty around sports, right?
Yeah.
We didn't even know the season was going to go on. Everything that was going on, political climate. I think just the opportunity to sit there in a room with guys and laugh and talk about sports was incredible. The fact that we got a season and we got new content each week and new jokes and new takes and all these things.
Yeah.
Take Your Pick was, it's continuous. We try and keep some standings, but the reality is, we're just talking sports just because we love it.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part.
And the Broncos could have had Stafford.
Inside joke on the show, tune in.
They could have, man. It would have been the pick. Would have been the pick. Like, what was Made Life like for you?
Sure.
And maybe other participants that you see. If someone didn't know what that was, what is it?
Well, to start, it's really a part of the kind of creative recovery that we're pushing for in this program, right? It's finding other ways to stimulate and gain connection and find passions and direction. So for me as a basketball coach, I would go there for Life Lab and for study hall, but I would also go on this program to make plays. It was this whole virtual kind of iPad, running around drawing, and Justin came up to me and was so impressed and had no experience in it. Justin's the leader of Made Life, and he helped get a program for us, and we were doing it all together, and that was part of my journey there. But we have so many musicians, artists. We do the podcast, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Having that opportunity to just talk sports authentically, joke around, and I mean that area and that environment gives you so many opportunities to just express yourself and
Very cool. Yeah. I get the question a lot, like, what's your typical profile?
Right.
Like, who do you work with? And so you can kind of diagnostically do that, some depression, anxiety, drug use, whatever there might be, some of those normal things. But identifying a typical AIM House client is impossible.
Sure.
Because you just start to see in some of these videos, it's really diverse. And I think that's one of the things I love about it the most is that we'll have like more the jockey types there, and then we'll also have we have a queer community, and we have but somehow comes together as this whole.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I find similarities in is everyone there wants to get better. I think that's the biggest thing. Whether or not they know how to do it or how much help they need to do it, everyone there respects and wants to be a better version of themselves. I think that's the common AIM House participant.
And I gotta ask you about the Cube.
Yeah, of course.
It's the newest, hottest meeting in AIM House. And staff had nothing to do with it, which I think is always great. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So Zach, a participant who just graduated onto Manifest, he had a vision for what was an in-house AA group. He wasn't really satisfied with the Zoom calls and all these things. He wanted that in-person connection. The problem is, truthfully, is that with the flexibility and versatility around AIM Houses, who's struggling with what, AA doesn't just, that doesn't cover the whole thing. We needed a group that provided a platform for people to speak freely about whatever was going on in their weeks, whatever the problem is, or however they identify. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it became really an open process group with an AA format. So you say your name, we read a couple of prompts, we bring in speakers at times. But the best thing about it, truthfully, is the fellowship and the ability to speak freely about if you identify as depressed, or you identify with OCD, or video game addict, anything that really is troubling in your life. It's talked about and respected, and we keep that sacred.
Nice.
Real world and feel part of it.
Well, and you guys had to get the most creative because everything was shut down
so unprecedented
during the time that you were here. So I feel like one of the side benefits of that is we were able to really bolster the internal stuff like
Yeah.
Catan and
Oh my god, the board games.
Catan's a big deal, right?
Oh, it is so fun. It was probably the highlight of the summer for some people. It really was. It was getting together with a group of people and playing these competitive board games like we were back in middle school. Like it was just so fun.
And I remember the board staying set up a few times. Like, you know, I figure they must have like gone deep into the night.
I remember we were kicking manifest people out. We had to start up in the morning.
So if someone's sitting in Wilderness right now looking at your video, which they will.
How's it going?
The food's better here.
Exactly.
You get to go to the bathroom inside.
Yeah.
And there's hot showers. But seriously, like if somebody's saying, what do you think is best for somebody to know who's kind of looking at a variety of different programs?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think one of the key things to understand is really that if you believe you don't need help outside of Wilderness, you're not alone. There are so many people that come to this program that really feel confident that they can take on life, you know? But accepting help is not a defeat. I think that's something that we have to get through as young adults is that, like, the help that we're getting is not, you know, a testament to, you know, you need it or you're bad. Like, everyone can utilize this kind of stuff, this executive functioning, the sobriety, you know, the extra support and the connection and friendship. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. If you come here, you see possibly what a better version of yourself can be in the real world. That's the best part.
Thank you so much, man, for
Thank
taking
you,
the time.
Dan.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.